It is now 10 years since I fully handed the field back to nature, more than 15 since I unofficially began this project. One thing I have learnt is that it does not take long for a field to be dramatically changed from a fairly lifeless patch of grass to a vibrant and varied landscape. Hi, I'm James Canton. I'm a nature writer, a teacher on a course called Wild Writing at the University of Essex. And my most recent book is called Renaturing, Small Ways to Wild the World. It's basically about how we can all be involved wherever we are, small garden, urban environment, window box, or 2-acre field like I've got, in actively helping the wildlife, the bees, the birds, the insects to flourish around us. We need to find ways in which we as individual humans can help nature recover. How can we all play a role to make complex ecosystems, a variety of living beings, live happily together in the world? We need new words. Renaturing is one such word. We can all renature. It is a word I came across on my journey, one I adopted and came to cherish. To renature, to actively help bring nature back to any space on the world. For more than 2 decades now, I've been living here, out in the agricultural lands of North Essex. I came here to look for peace and tranquility, and to try to develop a closer connection with the natural world around me. So this is the cottage that I've lived in for many years now, and the garden that I keep here is very much what you'd call a wild garden. Lots of wild grasses, some wild flowers coming in here. But the main reason that I moved into this cottage is for the field that's out the back. So when I first moved here 25 years ago, I came and looked at this farm labourer's cottage. When I walked around the back of the cottage, there was a sign that said for sale, and there was a field, a 2-acre field. When I asked the estate agent, he knew nothing about it. But what I managed to do was buy both the field and the cottage. I didn't really know what I was doing. I was from London town, and all I did for about 10 years was used it as a cricket pitch. So every 2 weeks I'd mow it down, and that was it. And it was essentially just a piece of green concrete. There was very little living here. And then after about 10 years, what I started doing is just leaving the edges. And then more deliberately, about 8 years ago, I started saying, right, no more cricket. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this into a place for wildlife. So rewilding is large-scale nature restoration, minimum 1,000 acres. Most of us, we don't have 1,000 acres. Renaturing, small-scale restoration. It's about increasing the biodiversity in that space, and that's what renaturing is all about. If you leave some patch of your garden to be wild, you are helping bringing back nature. You are renaturing. If you do not mow your lawn in May, you are enhancing the biodiversity of your garden. You are renaturing. If you are sowing pollinator-rich flowers in the window box of your flat, you're supporting the bees. You are renaturing. These are things we can all do to help make nature healthier. So one of the things around this part of North Essex is a lot of the land is being used for farmland. So, you know, wheat fields, creating food for us, which is great. When it's very dry, can become a little bit like concrete. And that's the lovely thing about a 2-acre patch like this, where you allow the natural world to live how it wants to live. So this is an area I've worked quite hard on. It's wildflower meadow that I've constructed effectively. And the bramble, when I first started this, was right out here. Cut it back, dug out as much of the root as I could, and then planted it with wildflower seed. So now what we've got is this kind of evolving picture of meadow. There's fabulous things. You've got your ragwort, you've got a lot of thistle, and between them, they not only provide this like lovely display of yellow and purple for the humans, but for all the insects, etc., they're providing all the pollinators with really good food. A lot of people sort of say, you know, what should I do? What do I need to plant, etc. Often you don't need to do anything. So all this section through here that you can see, I've done very, very little in the last 10 years. I'm very lucky to have this much space, but I do believe that wherever you are, you can bring a bit of natural, sustainable wilderness into your life. All you need is a window box like this one. So this is what I call my mini meadow. Simple little window box, tiny really, but it gets that flavour of the meadow, which I think is really good, and you can do this completely in an urban area. I have literally just taken some pieces from the wildflower meadow and placed them into this window box. So this is corn cockle. It's a cornfield annual. It's one of the cornfield annuals like poppies and marigolds and stuff like that. And it's quite rare these days, and it's a really beautiful one, beautiful mauve flowers. Obviously now it's turned to seed, but so long as you get that seed to touch the soil, it will come up again next year. Next along, you have the classic, my absolute favourite, yellow rattle. So this is key for creating wildflower meadows. The seed is in there, all tucked away, making a nice rattle sound now. But you can see what it looks like in flower. There's still a bit of yellow flower there. Absolutely amazing thing in that it parasitizes grasses, so knocks down the fertility of your field, or in this case, your mini meadow. And that allows other flowers to come up. Next along, we have the meadow grasses themselves. And in any wildflower meadow mix that you get, a wildflower seed, you'll probably have some wildflower grass seed in there. And this is a really nice one. I think this one's called bent. And it's just a beautiful grass, and it just fits in and creates that mini meadow feel. So every morning, my kind of routine would be to come get a cup of tea, come out to the field, and just really begin the day by being kind of as immersed in nature as possible. Really appreciate the birds, the bees, the butterflies, the wildflowers that are out at that time. I might come out here and the first thing that I notice is the crows, or it might be the first thing I notice is the ragwort, or it might be I come out here and there's a whole family of long-tailed tits that are just flitting through the young oaks. It's kind of become a bit of a habit, a bit of a routine, but I genuinely do feel that it's a routine that has calming influences in my world. The more that you can kind of do it sitting under an oak tree, just spending maybe 10 minutes thinking, right, I'm just going to keep an eye on what butterflies are around. That is when you kind of drop away from the human landscape, the human feelings, and you sort of step into this sort of other world where you're back immersed within nature. Renaturing means letting nature make the decisions about what grows where. It's about trying not to intervene in wild processes. It's about encouraging nature and learning from it. So this is ragwort. It's just one of the most important British wildlife species. The amount of insect life that is hanging around this plant, everything from these amazing black and sort of orangish caterpillars, which are the cinnabar moth caterpillar. There's hoverflies all over this thing. There's ladybirds. There's something down here that I don't even know what it is, but it's moving around and it's quite happy on there. So this plant supports something like 230 different species, but 30 of them specifically rely on ragwort. So it's a really important plant within the kind of ecosystem. So the thing about weeds is a term that a lot of people use a lot of the time. I don't particularly like it because it is a term that describes a plant that is in the wrong place for a human, but for the plant, it's in the right place. So, like ragwort's a perfect example. People see this, a lot of people would see this and say it's a weed. I would say it's a really important wildflower that is supporting something like 230 species. If we start moving out of the human perspective and start thinking about the ecology of place, of what is best in this space, you start realizing that, yeah, a field of ragwort is a pretty good idea actually for everything. And including humans, because I think it's really beautiful. So there are loads of ways that anyone can be renaturing. So one of the best things that you can be doing if you've got a bit of garden, bit of patch somewhere, just let some nettles grow. Let some bramble grow up. You might get some blackberries, but you might also get some butterflies. Other things that you could be doing. Let climbers grow up. Ivy's one of the best things that you can be allowing to grow up all over the place. Let it grow up over your fences. That's a really good way of going about things. It's one of the last food sources for things like bees and wasps. The last thing in autumn that they can feed on is ivy. Other things that you can be doing in your garden. Could you create a little bug hotel there? That's a really nice renaturing project that you can do, especially if you've got young children, or you want to do a bigger one. I made one here out of about 4 pallets. And you just fill it with things like pine cones, bits of bamboo, bits of wood, etc. Particularly really good if you're going into winter as a place. Keep it dry, all the bugs can go and hang out there. I think whatever space you're living in, there are so many ways that you can be renaturing and you can be involved in that process of nature restoration. So one of the things that I think most people will understand, and a lot of us felt it during lockdown, even if we lived in urban areas, if we lived in the countryside, was the value that the natural world, that being in nature has for us as humans. You know, that's what we've done for thousands and thousands of years. It's what we've always done. We're part of nature. We're not separate from it. And, you know, processes that have kicked in within our species recently, issues of eco-anxiety, concerns about climate change, they're eased for us when we're in natural environments, especially if they're in environments that we are doing something positive within, if you like. So that kind of positive action, the idea of human intervention on small scale, is not only good for biodiversity, for the insects, it's also good for us. To learn more about renaturing, take a look at my new book, Renaturing: Small Ways to Wild the World.